Namaste. Welcome to Indian Stories and Traditions. I'm Aruna Mandhania. I'm telling this Gangaur story today in English. The reason being that I feel a lot of the girls and younger generation can connect with our stories and our traditions if they are told in simple English language, and their interest may take them to learning our traditions more in depth. So welcome again. Gauri Mata ki jai, Har Har Shambho. So let's start with the Gangaur story. Gangaur is celebrated by girls and married women, all alike. So here is the story for Gangaur. One time, Parvati ji and Shiv ji came down Kailash Parvat to go to their Parvati ji's mom's place. They had an invitation and they were on traveling. So while coming down Kailash Parvat, they took Nandi with him because Nandi is their vehicle, and both of them sat on Nandi and they started to travel. As they were traveling and approached a village, some villagers said, look at this couple. They are so young and everything, and they are both sitting on this old Nandi. God, people are not considerate. So Shivji got down and said, hey, wait, why don't you sit and I will walk by Nandi. And after some time, of course, they met with some more people and they had an opinion and they said, hey, look at this beautiful young girl. She's sitting all by herself and does not have any respect for her husband. And the husband, poor guy, is walking on the side. And Parvati ji said, wait. Shivji, you sit, I will walk. They started, and again, another bunch of people said, hey, look at this old hag. He has no consideration for women. She's so beautiful, pretty. She's going to be tired very soon and all that. And then Parvati ji looked at Shivji and said, what? Whatever we do, people... And Shivji said, this is how the whole world is. They're going to talk about it any which way you do anything. So in life, you need to have focus, have a destination where you want to go, and go according to what you think is right. And Parvati ji said, oh, that's a good point. And they both traveled together. As they were traveling, they came across a very, very sad and painful horse, a mother horse. And Parvati ji asked, what's going on here? And Shivji said, oh, she's going to give birth to a little calf. And Parvati ji said, if giving birth is so painful, I do not want any child. I do not want any of this experience. Oh my God, this is scary. And please tie my tubes. I do not want to give birth. And Shivji said, wait, let's go. And as they went, they saw a cow in the same situation having painful labor, and Parvati ji was very disturbed and she said, no, this is it. You have to tie my tubes. I do not want to have any kids. And then Shivji said, let's move on. And they moved on to a small village, a kingdom actually, where everybody was very sad and tensed, and like people were wondering what's going to happen. And Parvati ji said, what's going on here? And Shivji said the same thing. The queen is in labor and she's about to give birth. And the whole village is like thinking how can they be helpful, and they're all tensed up. And she's like, this is it. Now is the time. You tie my tube. I'm not going to give birth because this is too painful. And she said, I'm not putting a foot forward before this. And Shivji said, okay then, and he tied her tubes. And then they proceeded, went to Parvati ji's mother's house, and they had a grand welcome, and they had a grand stay, and everything. And since Shivji and Parvati ji are there, the whole village wanted to come by and greet them and spend time with them and everything. And they were there for all 16 days, and the last day, the Gangaur day that we are celebrating today, Shivji and Parvati ji are now ready to leave. And Parvati ji is having so much fun with her friends and everything. And Shivji is like sitting and meditating. And then the time comes to leave, and Parvati ji's mom, of course, makes a feast of food, and she cooks so much and all. And then Shivji is like, test time. And Shivji sits there and eats everything, everything except for 8 of those phal that we make today, those and a little bit of green vegetable, and that's all is left in the kitchen. Everything else is done, gone. And then he's like rushing, let's go, let's go, let's go. So Parvatiji's mom doesn't have time to cook her another meal. So Parvatiji is like, what's going on, mom? And her mom says, oh, I'm so sorry, dear. And Parvatiji says, no, 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 don't worry. Mom's house, I can eat anything I want. Give me those 8 phal and the sabji, and I'm happy, I'm okay, and I'm leaving. So she eats those 8 phal and the sabji, and she goes with Shivji. But before going, there actually, I don't remember the sequence, but maybe she goes with Shivji, and then they both go under to rest. After a while, they want to rest, and they go and sit under a tree. Naradji comes and informs that particular village that, hey, hello, Shivji and Parvatiji are in town. So all the women are so excited, and the women who are not so well-to-do, and all those women, they just take whatever is in the house, and first thing in the morning they go and they give it to Shivji and Parvatiji, and they celebrate their presence and everything. And Parvatiji is so overwhelmed and touched by their devotion that she puts all her suhag and her blessings on them and finishes that. And then Parvatiji says, I'm a little tired, can I rest? And Shivji says, yeah, sure, rest. And she's resting under the tree, and Shivji is like now curious, what did she eat at her mother's house? So he goes and opens her little thing about her stomach and looks in, and is like 8 of the, he smiles and he puts the lid back on. And then when Parvatiji is up, he asks her, Parvatiji, what did you eat at your mother's house? And Parvatiji is like, I ate what you ate. Why are you asking? He's like, no, I'm just curious. And she says, really, I ate what you ate? And he's like, you're lying, because I opened your little stomach and I saw that. Parvatiji gets mad and she says, you know what, Shivji, this time you did that, but it's every woman's right to either mention or do not mention anything that happened in her mother's house or mother-in-law's house. Nobody has the right to interrupt that and open and get clarifications. So today you did that. From here on, I do not want anybody, including you, to be able to do that. And Shivji says, yeah, that's a mistake. You were covering up for your mother, and I should have respected that. So he gives that blessing that nobody will be able to open anybody's stomach to see anything. And by that time, here are all these Maheshwari ladies and the Marwadi ladies who are like, because Shivji and Parvatiji are in the town, they make the big feast, and they are like, oh, they're getting dressed and everything, they're singing and all. It's afternoon by the time they come to do the puja, and that's the reason why we do this puja in the afternoon. So then they come with a big feast and they present it to Shivji and Parvatiji, and by the time they are coming from far away, Shivji looks at them and he smiles and he's like, Parvatiji, you have distributed all your blessings away. Now what? Now your very favorite ladies are coming. What are you going to do about them? And Parvatiji is like all tensed up. Oh my goodness, what am I going to do? And Shivji reminds Parvatiji that in your little finger, you do have extra blessings power. If you want, I can help you with that. And Parvatiji requests, please do. So he suggests that she takes a little bit of kumkum, little bit of kajal, and little bit of sindoor, and a drop of Gangajal from Shivji, mixes it all up in her little hand, and when all these Maheshwari ladies come, she distributes this blessing to all the Maheshwari ladies, and they are all blessed with good companionship, prosperity. So after all these celebrations and everything, it's time for Shivji and Parvatiji to return back to Kailash, and they are on their way. As they are walking, they reach this kingdom, and in the kingdom, there is so much celebration and so much happiness and everything. And Parvatiji is like, what happened here? So Shivji says, oh, the queen had a baby, and they both are very healthy. She's like, oh, really? There's so much celebration if there's a baby in the house? Oh, I want a baby too. Well, she said, oh, you asked me to tie your tubes. She's like, oh, okay. And as they walk, they meet the cow, and the cow is so protective of her calf. She's licking the calf, and the calf is running around, and if anybody is coming close, the cow is like threatening them and everything. And she's like, oh, what's this? And she's like, that's her baby. The mother, it's a mother's instinct, and she's protecting her baby. She's like, it's so beautiful. Shivji says, yeah, it is beautiful. Let's carry on. And as they go on, of course, they see the mother horse and the baby, and the mother horse is so happy, and the baby is jumping up and down and everything, and like, oh, this is too cute and too good. Now I want a baby. And Parvati sits there and she's like, you have to untie my tubes. I have to have a baby. Shivji is like, you know what? You are the woman who has forced me to tie your tubes first, and now untying your tubes. So this cannot happen in the world either. You cannot have things just like that. And Parvati agrees. I'm sorry. The first time I was stubborn was my mistake. This time I really want. It's like, okay then. And then they proceed to Kailash. And as after they go to Kailash, they settle down happily and of course give their blessings to all of us. So that's the story of Gangaur and Shivji and Parvati ji. While we tell these stories, we also tell the story of Ganesh. We also tell the story of Lapya ji and Tapya ji. Okay, so here is the Ganesh story. So once Ganesh ji, there was a couple, and the husband was Ganesh ji's bhakt. And the wife had to like always make all the prasad for Ganesh and everything, get up early in the morning and do all those things. And she was tired. She had to go out, get like cow dung and make those cow dung cakes and everything for their household and every little chore. And the husband just demanded that, oh, Ganeshji's prasad should be the first one that needs to be made. She's like, okay. And then one time she really gets tired, and when her husband is out of town, she gets into the Ganeshji's temple and closes the door, and she goes and tells Ganesh, you just sit here and you make me work so much. What for? And my husband, he doesn't know anything better. He comes and he's like, and Ganeshji is like, and this lady tells Ganeshji, just shut up and be quiet, and from here on you're not eating anything. Ganeshji goes, okay. He puts his finger on his nose, his long nose, and he sits there. And when the husband comes back and he takes the prasad, Ganeshji is not eating, and the husband is wondering what is going on. Why is Ganeshji sitting with his finger on his lips? And he's worried, and he's like, oh my God, this, that, and everything. The whole village is worried. And then the wife gets to know that, oh, my husband is now worried. That's not good for him. I have to solve this problem. So she goes back inside. She closes the door and she's like, Ganesh, did I ask you to worry my husband? I just asked you to not eat anything and not be so demanding. Why are you so demanding? And Ganesh laughs and says, I'm so sorry. I misunderstood you. Okay, you just want your, yes, my husband being your bhakt is great, but come on. And he blesses that lady for her innocence and her hard work for making the prasad and everything with lots of wealth and comforts, and then blesses the husband for being the best bhakt that he has had. And that's how the couple lives happily ever after, sharing their wealth and their happiness with everybody else. So that's the Ganeshji story. If you are a Ganesh Bhakt, you have the authority to talk to Ganesh and give your heart's best wishes to him so that he can bless you the best way. So that's the Ganesh story. Here comes the story of Lapyaji and Tapyaji. There are two brothers. These two brothers believe that if you do meditation and be Bhagwan's Bhakt, this life is all taken care of. And so they both are doing their own thing. So one time Naradji, he comes, Narayan, Narayan, and he wants to test his brothers. So he comes and asks the brothers, hey, who do you think is a bigger bhakt amongst the two of you? And both of them say, I am. And then he says, oh, okay. And Naraji goes back. And then he drops a bunch of coins, a little bag of coins, gold coins, near both of the brothers. So the Lapyaji brother, he doesn't care. He is like, whatever. And the Tapyaji brother, what he does is, he takes that coin thing and says, oh, this could be very handy for me when I get old. And he puts it under his leg while meditation. And Naraji comes back and he says, oh, so who is the biggest bhakt? And both of them say, I am. So then Naraji says, Tapyaji, can you please pick up your foot, let me see. And then he finds the gold coins there. And he says, see, you've been greedy. And when you are greedy, you don't think right. You made the mistake of falling for the wealth of the world, whereas you want to be known as the biggest bhakt in the world. So that means your bhakti has been abruptly disturbed. And Tapyaji says, oh no, I made a mistake. That doesn't mean that my mistake causes me my life. What am I supposed to do? So he gives him a big punishment, a long punishment. But then Tapyaji says, I am almost old. I cannot do this thing for the rest of my life. And even if I do, I'm still not cured of the curse. So Naraji says, if anybody at any puja says any stories and does the puja and doesn't say your name, Lapyaji and Tapyaji, you get the credit of that puja instead of the person who's doing the puja. And if they do say your name, that means they get the credit of their puja. So in this whole world, as people are doing pujas and not saying Lapyaji and Tapyaji's name, are giving away their credit to the Tapyaji. And if you call your family home for dinner or for a party, and you do not call your daughters of your home and do not honor them, then the whole credit goes to Tapyaji and you don't get any credit of any of those things. So in those sense, we should always say Tapyaji's name, and we should pray that whatever he did, his hard work, he should be paid for that. And the puja that we do, whatever we do on our part, we should be blessed accordingly. So here is Lapyaji and Tapyaji's story for you. Thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know. Follow me on my channel, and I would like to know what you think of these stories, and if you need any explanation of any of our traditions, I'll be more than happy to come up with those. Thank you.